Hi, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner,
and our dog, Betty White,
your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Could we have named it something more creative? Probably. But it's the name of our blog. It's our last name. We're on an adventure. Yada, yada, yada. After owning our own business, working 24/7.
And don't forget a mental breakdown in between.
We made a lifestyle change and decided to make the most out of life.
We sold our house, most of our belongings, downsized, and moved to the coast.
We live life minimally, but fully.
We live each day as an adventure.
This show will help you learn how to live life more fully, with more intention, by experiencing more, and with less stuff.
We'll talk about our own experiences, interview others who have much to share by creating a spark in our lives.
Some days we'll share real-life ongoings of what we're going through, and others will talk about our favorite flavor of waffle.
Come join our adventure.
It's the Arner Adventures podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Jerry.
And we are lifestyle bloggers, content creators, and
now we're podcast hosts.
We are now podcast hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Yes, sir.
We are, if you aren't familiar with us, we are husband and wife. Betty White, she is here. Betty White is our dog, our rescue pup. And we together are Arner Adventures. This is our first official episode. We're super excited about it. This episode is called Why We Sold Everything and Moved to the Coast. And this is sort of the benchmark, laying the groundwork of how Arner Adventures got started. And I guess we'll just go ahead and get started from here.
Yep, it might show up as the second episode, depending on your podcast streaming service. Because our trailer will show up as an episode on some platforms, but this is the bona fide episode 1.
Yeah. Yep. So in this episode, we're going to give you an intro, like I said, of how Arner Adventures got started, how our minimalist lifestyle began, and hopefully inspire you to live a life without the physical baggage, to get a better handle of the emotional baggage, and to curate a lifestyle that gets you excited to wake up every day.
That's our big goal. So hang in there with us and take this little journey with us, and I hope we all benefit.
Yeah. So we'll just go ahead and dive right in. One of the biggest questions that we get on our blog and our DMs on social media, our emails, is how did we get to where we are with the major lifestyle shift? One of the intro to our, of course, our podcast and the blog intro and everywhere is that we always say that we had this major lifestyle shift, that we sold our belongings, we had a major downsize, and we moved to the coast. And we always get the big question of how did all that happen? So we thought we would start off this journey with an episode dedicated to how it got started, but in an easy to chew, bite-sized story, because we don't want to, we don't want to take hours to tell you all the details or bore you.
We don't want to lose you.
We want to keep you around. So we're gonna do this in a little snippet, snapshot of what happened. So we'll just kind of give you the helpful hints and bits of how it all happened.
Yeah, sure, without delving too deep, but that can be done later. But we want to sort of skim the surface of the main points of what brought us here.
So the first thing we'll start with, which was the big catalyst, was our business. Jerry and I were business owners for a number of years. We owned a business in the pet care industry. It was a 24/7 business. We're huge animal advocates, so it was very rewarding. We loved it. We were very successful. We like many business owners, we were working 24/7, but this business was in the service industry. So it literally was a 24/7 care business. We and our staff provided 24/7 care. So, it was a much needed service. We were very successful because it was so needed. And we grew very fast.
We probably grew a little bit too fast and weren't ready to handle the success that we got. And we didn't have great systems in place to handle things that came along.
Right. We were we were grasping for help. We would attend conferences in the pet industry, and the pet industry, at least in that time, which I think probably around that time was maybe 2013, 14, 15, something like that.
Yeah, we started up in this full time in the summer of 2014.
Yeah, it just the industry just wasn't keeping up with the growth that that industry was having. I mean, just we would attend the conferences, and they just weren't focusing as much on how to handle growth like that. So we really we didn't know what to do. I mean, there's so much hindsight we could have done, but that's okay. It's in the past. It's in the past. We're not going to focus on it now.
And we did make great strides in the period of time that we did this, but all in all, it wasn't enough to sustain us.
Yeah. So we, while we were making really great money, breaking all kinds of revenue goals month after month, year after year, we just weren't able to take care of our health. Also, sort of during the latter part of that, we had just suffered a lot of loss in our lives. Loss of...
Well, yeah, across the board. There was a parent, grandparent, or parents. We lost a pet right at the time that...
Pets,
yeah. And right at the time that the business was really picking up, and we were having a hard time keeping up the demand versus the supply, and so a lot of things, perfect storm of things at that point, led us into a kind of a difficult position.
Yeah, we had no quality of life, even though we were doing really great, I think, financially. And I think sort of to compensate, we just, again, we weren't taking care of our health. We surely weren't taking care of our mental health. We found that we were just buying crap and just filling our house with tons of stuff. And we were going on a nice trip every year, but we would go on the nice trip and splurge, and we weren't enjoying ourselves.
No, we usually come into that time so exhausted, and also having to still look at maintain things regarding our staff back at home who was working. And it wasn't very easy to relax because you combine the travel and stuff in with that, and it was just so that wasn't even working out.
Yeah. So it really just ended up taking a toll. And and I guess the beginning of 2017, it all came to a head, and major burnout, and for me at least, there is no other word except for just a mental breakdown. I mean, it was just major depression. Our dog at that point, our senior dog, we had lost the 2 cats, and then our dog Pharrell passed away, and it was just the straw that broke the camel's back, I think. And so that was sort of the catalyst, I think, in all of it.
I think so, yeah. And now, just to make it clear, the cats did live long, healthy lives. They were just a bit older.
Yeah, all of our pets lived wonderful lives and long lives. I mean, Pharrell did too. He was almost 15.
So by loss, we didn't mean they wandered out the door.
Right.
They all did fine. But yeah, it just came time for everybody.
And they all did. And it all took a major toll, and it was a really tough time. And so as you can imagine, we needed a survival plan. And every time I think we talk about this with someone, we sort of think, well, it seems like it was literally in the span of days. And looking back now, we're in 2017, and I think it now seems like it was in the span of days. I think it might have been maybe a few weeks, but in the span of literally a few weeks, we sold our home, our stuff, our business. We downsized, and we literally had only the things that were important to us, ourselves and Betty White, and we moved to the ocean. I mean,
we did, yeah, and it was a a package sort of a thing, things and house and whatever. So yeah, we stripped it down to the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And came to the coast, and we remain here 4 years later.
Yeah. And how did we get here? Why did we do that? I don't think there was one single thing. I just remember during that time thinking we just needed to purge. It was we had read a lot up on minimalism. We had read up on tiny living. But I just remember feeling like we needed to purge. We needed to cleanse. We just needed to rid ourselves of all of the baggage, the physical, the emotional, all of the things that weighed us down. And do I think that what we did is for everyone? No.
Probably not. No, I think luckily we had read up on things,
Mm-hmm.
sort of not with any real intention, but we just started finding an interest, and there was a movement that had started right about that time towards minimalism, the tiny house movement, which was all just really interesting. Through social media, and social media, basically, you see a lot of that stuff, but we hadn't really made any intentional plans regarding any of that stuff. But when we got to a certain point with this business, that stuff that we had been entertaining ourselves with for a couple of years kind of came into play.
Yeah, we had attended tiny house festivals and really looked into it and really planned and planned long term, thinking that maybe that's what we would do. So we knew enough about it.
But it played a part in when we did come down here, and that we first of all, we're not there anymore, but we did settle into a smaller place.
We cannot wait to tell you about one of our favorite partners, Sugar Wish. Now, if you aren't familiar, Sugar Wish is one of those brilliant businesses where you go, why didn't I think of that?
How many times have you wanted or needed to send a gift to someone and it was either last minute or you didn't want to send just another gift that was just going to lay around and take up space?
We have so much synergy with Sugar Wish.
Sugar Wish allows you to send a sweet gift to someone and the recipient gets to choose their favorites.
We've received Sugar Wish gifts and sent Sugar Wish gifts, and they are always a hit. You cannot go wrong.
It's super easy.
You just go to the website, sugarwish.com, choose the size of the gift you want to send, enter a personalized message and note tailored to the person you're sending it to, and it arrives to that person or pup via email or text.
The recipient then gets your message and then chooses what they want.
What? They have so many options to choose from. Candies, cookies, popcorn, snacks, cotton candy. When have you had cotton candy lately except for the state fair? Tea, coffee, and the best, Betty White's fave, dog treats and swag. Betty gets to choose from crunchy, chewy, jumbo, and training treats. It's a pup's dream.
All natural, preservative-free treats that are made with carefully selected, high-quality ingredients. They even have some grain, wheat-free options.
Perfect for your fur baby or the dog lover in your life.
Use code Betty White, that's all caps, one word, Betty White, to save $7 off of your gift. We also have the link in the show notes. Sugar Wish always saves the day.
Now back to the show. It was a 600 square foot little cottage.
Yeah, which also forced us to rid ourselves of a lot of things that, for the most part, we were always we had no problem with the things we got rid of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it really. Yeah, we really downsized even more once we got into the 600 square foot little cottage, and it really was healing. That first place, which now we live in a little bit larger little cottage, but it's not that much bigger, and we still live nearby the ocean, and it's still We still live a minimalist life.
In fact, we were about a quarter of a mile from that first place.
Yeah, we still
Yeah.
live very close to it. And so, you know, again, people thought we were crazy. And people wanted to know what we were doing. And so that is how Arner Adventures started. We started the blog. I mean, I remember us starting arneradventures.com, even registering the domain just as a way for family and friends to keep up with us, because the business domain was no more. Our business name domain was no more. And so it was just a way for people just to keep up with us and figure, honestly, it was probably a way for people to say, oh my God, let's watch them, their crazy train go off the rails.
Let's watch them implode.
Yeah.
It was probably a little bit of like the way people are attracted to reality TV. Let's see what happens.
Let's see
to
what
them.
happens next.
Yeah.
And then of course the Instagram slowly followed. And then we started sort of sharing tips and tricks about how our minimalist lifestyle was going, and people started having questions about, well, what are you doing at Thanksgiving? How are you cooking if you only had, because we only had our toaster oven, and how are you going to cook if you only had a toaster oven? And you know, we don't eat meat, so we surely didn't have to cook a turkey. And so anyway, we just started showing ways that we were, you know, living with more intention.
We did, yeah, and it branched out into a lot of different little things.
Yeah.
Shannon suggested one day I juggle for the. That didn't work out, but other things have, and
the juggling series didn't work out.
Didn't work out at all. No.
So living with more intention.
Yeah, and but yeah, it did branch out into more just lighter entertainment things, but never strayed away so much from these lifestyle. The foundation of these lifestyle things that we started talking about in the beginning.
Our blog definitely has more pillars to it. We try to stick to, you know, certain things. I mean, the definitely the things that are important to us: music, travel, animal advocacy, mental health, of course, is huge for us still.
Indeed.
It's definitely something that we want to keep out in the open, because not enough people talk about it and keep it out in focus. And so we started this podcast as a way to share our own experience, because of course we have blogged about it, but we've never vocalized it. And we really haven't ever put it out into words and talked about it, I think, except to close family and friends.
Right. No, that's true. We never did. And
So we wanted to use this as a way also, not only to talk about our own experiences, but to bring on guests who have been a spark in our lives along the way, and who continually are.
Sure. Because, I mean, you think you know something about these people already, and they come on here and wow, you're surprised. There's other things that you'll find out, and while you're sharing it with everybody out there. So
and we're so excited, because we the people who we have lined up are people who too have opted for a life that maybe doesn't fit into conventional structures, or people who have decided that they too are going to live intentionally and have cultivated a life for themselves, that they have just decided that is how they're going to do it, and again have lit a spark in our lives, and we're just so excited about it. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, that's it. Of course, like we said, we've brought Betty White along the way. She is our ride or die. She has been through all of it with us, and so she loves being here near the ocean. It's healing for her as well.
Oh, you can just see it on her face. We had her out there in the last couple days on a nice day at the ocean on the beach, and it just.
Yeah.
If we look happy, we'll look at her and she looks twice as happy.
Yeah. It's really great. So Anyway, we are so excited to be on this journey. We're so excited that you're here with us, and we know that time is valuable. And wow, we're so excited that you're listening to us right now. And we're even more excited to share our guest list with you of who we have coming up. I'm so ecstatic to share. We have some people that are just. I'm fangirling over the people that we have coming up, and I'm just ecstatic. And even that they even said yes, and I'm dying. But if you want to know who is up first, be sure to sign up to be in the know, and you'll find out who they are, and we'll let you know first so that you could submit questions for the first few that we have scheduled. So the link to sign up so that you'll know who they are is in the show notes. So I guess whatever platform you have, you just kind of scroll down and see, and they're in the show notes. And worst case, if you can't find it, go to arneradventures.com, go to the podcast at the menu, and they'll be in the show notes for today's episode. And also,
we just wrapped up a no buy year in 2021.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss that on an upcoming episode with special guest Robert De Niro. No, I'm just kidding. It'll just
Robert De Niro is not in that one.
No, and I don't think he would really know much about the declutter or no buy year. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so that's my little joke. But seriously, folks, we did just launch a 30-day declutter challenge.
Oh yeah. So with the declutter challenge, but kind of piggybacking on the no buy year, we did just launch the 30-day declutter challenge. So if you're interested in getting your hands on the free download of the 30-day declutter challenge, it is also down in the show notes. It is a free download. That link is also available, and you can start that anytime. It's a 30-day declutter challenge. So you can start it anytime you want to. It doesn't necessarily have to be, I think this episode should be dropping on January 4th. So it's okay if you download it today. You can start it anytime.
Just make sure those 30 days are in a row.
Yeah, you make sure they're in a row. Definitely. Mm-hmm. And I think, lastly, we're just so thankful.
Thankful to everybody that has just jumped on board with Arner Adventures, and man, we can. I always say there's something to be said about momentum, and I can feel it now with our podcast.
Yeah, we are so thankful. If you know somebody who finds today's episode helpful, please text them a link to it. I mean, there's some people who may find this and just need kind of the push to say, yeah, I'm ready to downsize and ready to move to the coast. But like we said, it's not for everybody. We get that. If you're feeling extra generous, screenshot this episode and share it on your stories. Be sure to tag Arner Adventures, or even better,
give us a 5-star review.
Yes.
And we will be giving away a gift pack from Sugar Wish to one lucky person who gives us a review this week.
Yeah. If you give us a 5-star review this week, we will definitely be drawing a name from anybody that does this week before next week's episode. And you'll be drawing for a prize from Sugar Wish. It would mean a ton to support us in that way. Also, if you have any feedback about this episode or any of our others, let us know. Shoot us a DM, an email, whatever is the easiest for you. We would love to hear what you think. And you can always find us at arneradventures.com, on Instagram at Arner Adventures, and all of these are linked in the show notes. So,
well, until next time, everybody, enjoy the journey. We're glad to have you aboard, and wishing you as many adventures as many as we've had.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.